cover three different topics. All topics are very important. Alina, if you are back, you can get started. So all three topics we're going to cover. So the first topic we're going to cover is called Selenium grade. It's more concept than doing lab, because in interview people will ask you. So it's more concept, right? But if you want to do it, you can do it. However, we will be showing you concept. The second thing called page object, which we all will do along with me, the lab. Make sure you are all logged in with the Infotech guide. Infotech guide, because it's a step-by-step instructions we'll do together. And the third is a BDD. BDD is something very important topic called behavioral driven development. Behavioral driven development. It's kind of very popular topic. It's part of Selenium. It uses Selenium, but a little bit advanced way. So this has a little bit challenge. Challenge number one, it doesn't work properly in NetBeans if you are using 17 version. So one homework I can give you is figure it out, right? Because you are using Java 17, I'm using JDK 1.78, I would say, or 7. So 1.8, 1.7, no problem. But 17, there is a problem. So to alternate to that, you may need to do the similar project in Eclipse. Again, you don't have to do much work here. If you want to do separately, you can do that same project in Eclipse. In Eclipse, it works smoothly, but it does not work. I noticed some students mention that it doesn't work in NetBeans, which is version 15 or 12, because they are using JDK 17. So when we are using JDK 17, it's not working. But same project, if you do in Eclipse, if you download Eclipse and if you do it, it does work. So again, we can debate, or if you can find a solution, we can happy to correct that thing. Sounds good? So this topic we're going to do after break. So this topic after break. You will be asked in interview about BDD. That's for sure. You will be asked. Okay. So I need to cover concept, and then I'll need to give you, means I need to show you lab. My labs may not work in your machine because you have JDK 17. Okay. But concept will remain same. So if you understand the concept, you can do the same thing in Eclipse. You can download Eclipse and you can do it, and it will work exactly the same way. But if you find a solution for your NetBeans, let me know. I'll correct it also. Make sense? So all three are very important topics. If you want to use any of the topic for this, maybe you can use for your project. It's easy to use in your project. This also you can use it, but you need a whole group sitting in one room. You cannot do this exercise, Selenium grid, if you're remote. And we'll talk about what is Selenium grid and all. This concept I would not recommend for you to do in part of the project, because it will take time and many of you may not have enough time. So that's why I'm kind of delaying. I covered Jenkins last week. The reason Jenkins must be there in your project, but BDD part I'm delaying, which you can do when you have time. Make sense? If you do it, good. If you don't do it, not a problem. Sounds good? So three topics we're going to cover. So before we start, let's talk about Selenium grid. So for that, all of these activities, I have a forum there. So if you go to in a forum, you have Selenium grid, right? So first relax and enjoy the ride. So Selenium grid. In Selenium grid, this concept starts with the mindset that big companies, example, Apple, example, Google, Amazon, when they start a product, they need to certify the product that this product will work on particular operating system and it will work in particular browser. Now think about when Google start their browser, they need to think about that their operating system may be Windows, maybe Mac, maybe mobile application, like example, Android, maybe Apple, right? So they need to make sure the product which they build should work in all operating systems. Make sense or not? So far, you're using Selenium and you're using only Gecko driver. So far, you're using Gecko driver. And Gecko driver is only checking one browser. Do you agree or not? It can be maybe Google Chrome, or it can be Edge, or IE, or Firefox, Safari, So there are a lot of testing you need to do. Yes or no? But currently what we are doing is we are using Windows and we are using Google Chrome and we are only testing for this. And that is not good enough. So in a real life, when you come up with the product, you need to make sure you verify all operating systems and all browsers and each browser, all versions. There are 3-dimension testing you need to do. So think about it. I'm using Windows 10, but then I'm using Chrome. But Chrome can have 3 versions: Chrome 101, Chrome 102, Chrome 103. Did I test my application in all 3? No. I tested only one because Google driver only works for one driver, one version. Makes sense? Or not? So at single point of time, I'm only testing one operating system and one browser and one version. But in a real life, Google Chrome may have multiple versions. Google Chrome can work on a multiple operating system. Do you guys agree or not? Google Chrome work in our Android phone, Google Chrome work in Apple, Windows, Mac. Same apply for Edge. Edge can have many browser version and it should work on a many operating system. So here permutation is a lot more. Yes or no? So now the problem we have in Selenium, we are running only one test. So running one test, you cannot certify that this product will work for all operating system, all browser, and all version. You cannot certify. Do you guys agree or not? And there, grid come in picture. The grid says that you write a test one, listen carefully. You write a test only one, that is a Selenium test. And then you tell us what is your desired capability. Speak with me. Desired capability. Desired capability means if you are in this box, then your operating system is Apple, your browser is Google Chrome, and your version. Makes sense or not? So the desired capability means operating system, browser, and version. Makes sense or not? So if you have this desired capability stored in an array, then you can run the same test multiple times, maybe 50 times, and you verify that these tests works in all permutations, operating system, browser, and version. And if it works, then your test pass for all the permutations. In order for us to do that, the concept is Selenium Grid. We have not used Selenium Grid, but Selenium Grid is a special infrastructure type of setup. The coding wise, you're only using Selenium. Coding wise, you're only using Selenium. There is no change in the coding. When you're running the code, you're using concept called Selenium Grid. So far, so good. Any questions? First of all, do you see the problem or no? So far, whatever we have studied, we are running the test for one operating system and one browser and one version. So out of grid, if there are permutation maybe 20, we are only running tests for only one. So 19 tests we did not run. It means we are not sure that my application, if someone wants to run on a Mac with Windows with a different version, I cannot surely say it will work or not. But when Google, Amazon, Facebook, when they come up with their product, they cannot just do like that. So they need to have a QA person who can run, test with different permutation, different operating system, different browser, different version, and making sure every time it is successful. So Selenium Grid is more for high-end company, not a small company. Selenium Grid applies where the company wants to certify that their application will work on all the operating system, all the browsers, and all the versions. Then Selenium Grid may be useful product. So far, so good. People on phone, people will ask in interview. Okay, so make sure your concept is very clear. So now, how Selenium Grid works? So Selenium Grid has a setup which is called Hub and Node. So Hub is a manager, and these are Node. Node is nothing but machine, or we can say manager, and here worker node. So think about that. You are going for Secretary of State or Department of Motor Vehicle. So Department Motor Vehicle, when you go to one place, one person. He is saying, why you are here? and that person will send you to a particular window. Yes or no? Say yes or no. It depends on your desire. Desire, it is sending you to a particular window. Same concept. Same concept. So far, what you are doing here, you are running Google. You're running Google and you are giving Google URL. So your machine is opening browser. Yes or no? You're not going to do now. This is your laptop. In your laptop, you are going to give URL of hub. You're going to give URL of hub. And then you're going to say, I have desired capability Windows, Google Chrome, and version is 105. As soon as you give desired capability to this manager, manager will interpret Windows, Google Chrome, and 105. Out of available hundreds of nodes, manager will say this machine has Google Chrome, first Windows, Google Chrome, and 105. So then your test, instead of running on, right now your test is running in your machine. Instead of running on your machine, your test will run on this specific machine. And then you get a result. Let's say you are using array. And now you're saying, hey, I want Windows, Google Chrome, but desired capabilities version is 107. Then this manager say this has a 105, but this machine has Windows, Google Chrome, 107. So now same test will again run here. Now you say, I want to run the same test on Microsoft mobile phone, Windows mobile phone, and operating system is, let's say, Windows operating system, and version is 10. Then this will send to the mobile phone and run. Your test is still same. You're running same test, but you are using combination. When you do combination, you're using three things. Speak with me. Operating system, browser, and version. You give it, then hub will interpret that and send to respective machine. This setup which you see here, this is called test lab. This test labs consist with hundreds of machines. So there will be a machine which has a Safari, there will be a machine which has Opera, there will be a machine which will have Mac, there will be a machine which has a Linux, there will be a machine with the Apple, a machine with the Android. There are different machines out there. So your company want to certify how this will work, then your company will set up all those machines for you. Make sense? And then you are going to write only one program and you will provide desired capability. Your test program will run same program, multiple machines. Make sense? Any questions with respect to architecture? Good. Now, if you want to do architecture, this kind of setup, my one group did it. I mean, their picture is in our notice board. They stayed whole night and they did it. So in order to do so, how you do that? So first of all, you all have to be in one network. You all have to be in one network. And then you should either you're using a switch or you use one network. So if you are an IT expert, then you are same network. So when you are a same network, then you can make one machine as a hub and you can make one other machine. Your team member is a node 1 and node 2. And then you can configure necessary software here. So what is Windows? You can have Windows and you can have IE or Edge here. You can have Windows and you can have Google Chrome here. Makes sense? Now this is a hub, and then there is another machine which will send request to this machine, and then you will see the traffic going there. Makes sense? You can do it, but if you don't do it, it's still fine, because in a real life, the setup will be done for you by a DevOps person. You are just going to run Selenium test with the desired capability. Make sense? So it's not important how you run it. It's important is how you understand it. Because for your side, you will only change few lines of code. Because rest of the code is Selenium. We are not going to change a single line of Selenium. We are going to change how to pass desired capability to hub. That's pretty much it. Make sense? What is the capability? Desired capability. Okay? So now let's move on. So this is what I was explaining. So for that Selenium test, you want to run on Android, IE, Firefox. So there are multiple machines you need to set up. It can be set up on mobile device, laptop, desktop, anything. Hub knows how to talk because each node will register to Hub that I have this capability. I have this operating system, I have this browser, and I have this version. Each node will inform the Hub. They register. Register means they inform Hub, I'm having this capability. Send me the traffic. So first, each node can register to the Hub. So Hub knows how many machines are available. Hub also knows who can do what. Then once your program point to this hub already knows that. So Hub send traffic to the respective machine. Hub will only send traffic to one machine when your operating system, browser, and versions are notified. If you have multiple machines have same capability, then Hub may send traffic sometime here and sometime. Make sense? Ideally, one machine should have one capability. So that way, Hub can always send traffic for that window, that particular browser, particular version to that machine. And this setup is expensive. That's why most companies do not have this. This concept is called test lab. Test lab is normally millions of dollar investments because we are talking about 60 to 70 machines just for testing. Because each machine, maybe mobile device, maybe Android, maybe iPad, maybe something, you need everything, right? Because your application should work in all permutations. Make sense, Sam? Any questions so far? People on phone? So far, so good.
So they're just companies that specialize in setting up these test labs that people can use?
Yes, most companies are going to have this kind of setup. So wherever I work, we have this setup. So if you work for Sears, if you work for Caterpillar, if you work for big company, they will have this setup because they want to make sure their application work in all different permutations. This setup is normally done by DevOps person. Again, it's not that complex to set it up. You need to have one machine. That's pretty much, one network. There is nothing special. Just like you're using your laptop. If let's say Pranav can install Firefox, and let's say last year is installed Google Chrome, you install Edge, 3 machines are in one network, right? Same operating system, but different browser. Now you're using, let's say, Edge with version 1, and Saki is installing Edge with version 2. Now you're 2 machines, 1 and 2. So try to do permutation, and they have to be in one network. Why? Because then and then our hub can send traffic. If they are in remote network, still possible, but then you will have some kind of performance issue, which is called latency. So we need to keep it in one office or one level, or we call data center, so that you will not have latency problem. Because if your latency problem, then your test might produce different result, right? If everyone is sitting in the same network, the result will be predictable. Good. Any other questions? Good.
What I meant was, are there any companies that have these setups that smaller developer firms like can rent, or not really?
I don't think renting would be possible, but I don't know. The renting, because these are proprietary, like each product may have their own specification. Most of company where I work, I did not see they have rented. Good news about it, you will be using this often because every release you need to test it. So you will be using often. It's a good idea to invest this thing. Again, for big company, I have seen small company, they don't do anything of this because this is for the company when they are developing a product or application and they want to give opportunity for their QA to validate and verify their application works in this permutation. Many companies don't check that. And trust me, in case if you try like a company, like example, Walgreens or CVS, you try their application in IE and the same application Google Chrome, you might see some differences. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Google kind of thing. It doesn't matter you check in IE, it doesn't matter in Firefox, it will work, and it will work. Because that is proven through Selenium. Now, Selenium Grid is one of the best software available in the market. Now, some company use different setup also. Now, there is one company called Browser Stack. So Browser Stack also allowing similar setup now. Selenium Grid is FREE free. FREE free. Now, browser stack, they have used this concept free, and they kind of bit massage it and make it a little easier for you. Now they charge thousands of dollars as a licensing. Now, if you don't want to do a little bit customization, you end up paying money for that, right? If I was QA, if I'm QA right now, then I would ask my all team member, hey, we will come. And if you want to create a network, you can have a switch also. You can connect the switch and then use the switch, and you can connect all the machines and switch. Now you're guaranteed one network, and you can do that. My Ukrainian students, I have picture, they have done it. It is not that complex to do so. It just requires some step, and all steps I have documented in my forum. Make sense? I'm going to walk you through. So far, so good. Any other questions? Okay, so let's move on. So we talk about architecture. There's a hub, and we talk about there's a node. Hub itself does not run anything. Hub delegate the traffic to particular node. A node is nothing but machine. Each machine has a very unique capability. Operating system, browser, and version. Okay. Now if you scroll down, how to install? So first you need to have this jar, which is called Selenium server jar, which is the grid. So you download this thing, and then you start this step. So first you go to here, Selenium grid, and you download it, right? When you download it, you will get the jar, and then you run this command. Wherever you download, you run this command. So when you run this command, Java, jar, Selenium standalone, which is the jar name, and there might be a version different, and you can say role as a hub. It means that machine is now become a hub. Make sense? It doesn't take time to do so. When you download the jar, let's say your version is 1.2. So instead of this, just write 1.2. That's your jar version. Make sense or not? And then you will say Java space dash jar space the jar which you downloaded. So from here, if I click here, I'll just show you so you can understand. So here, if I go for Selenium grid, right? The latest stable version is 4.8.0. So if I click on 4.80, then you can download. So this is like a Selenium jar. Make sense or not? And then once I download, if I go to CMD, right? I go to CMD and I go to the place wherever I have downloaded. So if I go to CMD, right now I am here. And if I say CD download, I'm in download folder. If I say dir, the last one which I downloaded here is this jar. Make sense or not? And this jar, I need to just say Java space this jar, and then I use this jar, yes or no? And then I can say role is hub. Make sense? So when I do so, now I'm saying Java from this jar, run it and role is hub. So when you do that, server will start. So when server starts, your server starts, and normally server start automatically at 444 port. It means this server is listening. First you have to write hub. Hub is now listening 444. Now rest of the client can be in different machine. They will try to register to the hub. The hub will have IP address, or hub will have its host name, right? So using IP address or host name and port name, this guy say I'm node 1, and then it will register. It will also tell I am capable to do these 3 tasks. Make sense? So first you're going to start hub. Now, once you start the hub, you can test it out that this is working or not. Because this command which you ran, which will start listening to 444, right? It will listen to 444. Now, if you go to browser and if you add this link, then you will see the server is running. And you will see server is running. Now you're going to start the node, which is a different machine. In the different machine, you're going to use the same jar. You're going to use the same jar. You download the jar in that machine and run Java jar Selenium. This is the jar. And you're going to say role, my role is a node. and hub is this place, and I want to register. So now node, as soon as you run this command, so hub is already running. So hub is running, and this is the separate machine. That separate machine run this command, it will register to hub. Makes sense or not? And other machine, you do the same thing, it will register. And then you will do the same thing, it will register. Makes sense or not? Now if I scroll down, you can configure a little bit, which is this way. So this one, when you run this command, right? Let me do this way. So if I run this command, I can register. But if I want to give more information, then I can give this kind of command. Check it out. I can say my browser is Firefox. My version is 4. And max instance 4. It means I can run 4 pages at the same time. And my platform is Windows. So all those things, you can, this command you pass, hub will now know that this guy is using Firefox. This guy using Firefox version 3.6. This guy using 4. This guy using that. So you are educating. This is the called parameter. So this parameter, you copy it and pass it here along with this command. So this parameter, if you pass here minus browser, minus platform. So now the hub will know that this machine is capable to perform that. Makes sense or not? Now it takes maybe 10-15 minutes to set up. Once you do that, now you have to set up, the machines are set up. Now, any question with respect to setting up the machine, right? You can just run this command and it will set up. So now hub and server is ready. Now you are talking about your test. Now you need to educate your test, which is the Selenium test. How does it point to the hub, right? So you will first think about desired capability. So you're going to create a desired capability like this. So desired capability equal to desired capability Firefox. So you kind of started that. Or you can pass the parameter. So you can say capability set browser name Firefox. Capability set platform Windows. Capability set version 4. So you are setting this thing. Make sense or not? So where you're going to set this thing? You're going to set your program. So this is where in your program you're going to set it. But if you set it, your program become fixed. Yes or no? If you set it, your program become fixed. It will only run for this capability. So rather than here, you're going to pass here browser. Rather than here, you're going to pass operating system. Rather than here, you will pass version. Remember method with the parameter? And if you pass that, then it will automatically run first permutations, browser, operating system version, second permission, browser, operating system version. So your program can run multiple times. Make sense? Now, how do we do that? So if you scroll down, I give you an example. So first, your program should know, just like a web driver, you are going to use Word. So far, you are doing driver.get, right? Yes or no? Instead of driver.get, you're going to say driver equal to new remote web driver. And then you're going to give the URL of your hub and you're going to pass capability. As soon as you pass capability, you know what will happen. Hub knows which machine to send this request, right? So now if I see here, I start the hub all started. So if I start the hub, this is the screen. When you run this command, you will see this screen. Initially, there is no machine register, right? First time, only hub is there. So you can see hub is there. There is no registered node yet. Now, if I start the node, if I say this is the node has a port, and I pass this URL. If I do that, and if I run the node, so now you can see that as soon as I pass this node, and you can see this nodes now started showing up. Make sense? So now hub, this is the hub URL. Hub is saying that I have multiple nodes, node 1, node 2, node 3, like that. So first you have to set up the infrastructure. This infrastructure should be pre-set up. Now you go down and your program, this is your Java, JUnit or test engine. There is no change at all. The only change you need to do is the last thing. This is the only thing you need to do. So see here, parameterize. Why are we parameterized? Because we are using array with 3 things: operating system, browser, and version. And these will automatically pass the parameter. So 0 will be going to first, second will be going to second, and third will be going to third. And this is your method. So this method helps you what permutation you want to test. So here, absolutely, you can see 3 permutations. When you don't give a version, it means you are saying any version is fine, right? So your operating systems, you have browser, and you have version. If you don't give a version, it's any version. So now, this method is going to call test Google title browser 0, 1, and 2. So this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Now let's go to this method. So if I go to this method, this is the method is expecting 3 parameters. And this method, I go here, sorry, my mistake. This method expects 3 parameters: operating system, browser, and version. And you can see here, if browser is Firefox, then capability is Firefox. If browser is there, then so you are setting the browser capability like this. And that is you are setting in a capability. Because you are going to get browser, so you are checking if browser is Firefox, then capability is Firefox. If browser is I, then capability is I. If browser is Chrome, then capability is Chrome. Then if you scroll down, same thing. If operating system is Windows, then I'm setting capability Windows. If operating system is Mac, I'm setting capability Mac. Makes sense? So your goal is to make sure you check it and then set it. Right? And same apply for version. If we are right now not setting the version, so we are good. Now your program is calling hub with the capability, but capability you already set it, right? So your program is now going to run, and you're going to, this is all Selenium code. There is no change here. There is no change here. Everything is Selenium. These lines, rather than you open a Google Chrome, you are actually going through what you call hub. And then hub will do all the magic for you. Make sense? And that's pretty much it in your program. And in dependency perspective, same dependency as you're using, here you're adding your Selenium remote driver. This is the one dependency you're adding. Make sense? Questions? Question, concern, start. Why would somebody select Selenium? Is it a good thing to do, bad thing to do? Save time. What other reason people use Selenium Grid? What other reason people use Selenium Grid? Save time is good, but is this saving time you will use or something else? If you are a product company, what would you like to know before you deliver to customer? It is a compatible, means it's certified. What is your role as a QA? To certify. How would you certify when you have not tested? Do you agree or not? So if you don't have a Selenium Grid, no matter how good QA, you are not going to certify that application will work for all hundreds of permutations. Yes, sir. So without Selenium Grid kind of setup, technically speaking, you are doing only 1% of QA. So if you do not know, you're considered as a kind of basic QA. But if you know Selenium Grid, you consider as an advanced person, right? Though there is no much knowledge required. If you notice that setup will be done by someone else, I may explaining all those things, but you will be given the hub URL. That's pretty much it. So you don't have to worry about who set up what. You just need to know where is the hub URL, right? And this is the default code. There is no, you're not going to change any of this line. If somebody say, I want to check for Opera, you copy this thing and Opera. If somebody wants to check, you just keep adding condition. But this is only one time. It's a boilerplate code. You're not, see, there is no line change here. This is like boilerplate code. And if somebody say, hey, can you check the permutations, then add an array here with operating system, with the browser and version. So this is the only part you're going to change. Rest of the thing is a boilerplate code. Of course, if you have a different name, you can use it, but that's your method. Here, everything is same. The only thing you need to do is change this hub URL. Your role is to just write this Selenium code. You don't have to set up Selenium grid. You don't have to set up Selenium grid. Selenium grid will be set up for you. You just need to run the thing. But if somebody asks you, how would you run? Then first thing you need a hub URL. The second thing you need to know, what are the capability we are going to test? And based on that, you create array. And rest of the things are, I kind of give you skeleton code, everything. You are testing Google. Let's say if you're testing Facebook, change the URL, write your test with the Facebook name, right? And then you do this thing on the top because it will require. The rest of the things is your Selenium code. The only change is the URL and you're passing capability. So you are not doing much change there. But if you do not know, I don't know Selenium grid, but if you see that, it's like hardly 2-3 lines of code you're changing. And because you don't say, if you say in interview, you don't know Selenium grid, people say, he may not be right fit. There is no difference between Selenium grid versus Selenium code. The setup is the different part. How Selenium grid execute, that's a different part. But code-wise, it's identical. Question, concerns, doubt. I'm going to go to forum. So in my forum, there is a forum which is called Selenium project, right? So I'm going to the category, and in category, I'm going to select the quality assurance. And in quality assurance, I'm going to select our project, Selenium project, which is this one, right? Selenium project. Now, if you click on that, you will see all those good things there. However, if you scroll down, in the middle somewhere, I have added a page object also. So if you scroll down, you will see colorful thing here. Keep going. Keep going. And you will see colorful thing. Yes, like this. Right? All of you should be here, so at least you will be able to copy paste. Right? If you do not have forum, you cannot do the lab because I'm not going to write a single line. I'm just going to copy paste because my goal is to avoid too many mistakes. My goal is to make sure we understand the concept. Now, before we start, I want to make sure you understand. So far, what we are doing, we are writing everything in our test class. So we are writing in our test class and we use method annotation test and we are writing everything here. That code is actually scary code, scary. Sometimes people who do not know Selenium, they will be like that. So they will be scared. Why? Because you write so much thing, driver.get, send keys and all. So kind of scare people. So in industry, there is a problem. That problem number one in industry, everyone is nowadays using Agile team. In Agile team, normally people might be seven-member team, but there will be 5 developers and 2 QA. They normally keep like more developers and 2 QA. So you will have a lot more problem because you will have a lot more pressure. If you are not ready to work 10 to 14 hours, then you will not enjoy it. Sometimes you need to work 16, 17 hours a day. So in case if you are thinking of working from home, then you will be working 18 hours a day. If you work in office, at least you can wash hand and you come out. Why? Because these 5 people are producing more code than a single QA can develop. And if out of 2 QA, if one person go for vacation or sick days, you are going to work more hours. So it is a more productive work, but at the same time, it's more challenging work. To solve this problem, that QA was underburdened because they have to do a lot more work. Mostly weekend will disappear because most of the deployment or most of the promotion happen during weekend. So you will not have a family life because Saturday, Sunday, you will be the most busy person. I'm not scaring, these are reality, okay? So how do we come out from that? So this concept came called page object. So page object save it on it. Why developers are not helping QA? Because QA writes code with Selenium, which is scary code. To solve this problem, what if we divide and conquer? Something we ask developer to do and something we ask QA to do. So developers are 5, they can do certain things much faster than QA can do. And if we use that type of mechanism, then QA doesn't have to do everything. Because QA try to do everything, they cannot catch up because 5 people are developing, 2 people are testing. So that is the main reason page object started. Now, why page object? So what happened is, all companies where you are going to test, you are going to have a web page. So people are saying web pages are normally developed by web developer or developer. So what we can say, whichever web page they have, can they create a Java class? And the Java class has nothing to do with QA. Java class. Can they create a Java class? So this is developer can do it because it's not a scary code. So rather than QA does that, we ask if you have a UI, like example, if you have a login page where your username and password, then you can ask your developer to create appropriate class here. So think about your login page, then your object will be your username and password, set attribute, right? And then you do setter and getter and constructor. So just like a Pojo, right? So if you have login, how many attributes you have in login? 2, username and password, and there will be a button called submit. So that button means nothing but method. Make sense on it? So whatever you are having a web page, you are going to do Java, and developer knows how to do Pojo. It takes 10 minutes for them. So we are asking them to do Pojo. And then we are going to do testing, but we are not going to use Selenium the way you have been doing. Rather, we will use this class to do the testing. So your code will be 3 to 4 lines only. Listen carefully. Your code will be 3 to 4 lines of code. And their side of the code is a Pojo. And they may also add 3 to 4 lines, and we are done. So QA code will be significant simplified. Make sense? Significant simplified. And there is no scariness in this code. Very simple, very easy way to do the code. So page object allows to map any UI page. Like example, if you have contact us, in contact us, you have multiple text box, and then you have a drop-down box, check box. Anything you see on a page, you should have an object. Make sense? We talk about, right, when we were doing data-driven. Remember, we were doing data-driven. Everything I taught, and trust me, if you have listened to me, watch the recording, at this moment, you should have that confidence we can do the job. The problem is, if you don't do this practicing, then the $1 million will disappear, because whatever we are learning is not a new thing. It's just kind of framing differently. We all know Pojo. We know how to create attributes, setter and getter, create constructor and toString. This is what they're gonna do, developers gonna do. And then we are going to give some kind of annotation, which we call XPath. We talk about XPath, if you remember. We also know locator strategy, find by ID, find by name. So we are going to give them annotation. They don't have to write a single line of code. They're going to write annotation. So first of all, and they are programmer, so they know if there's a class like example scanner, and we say dot next. What is dot next is method. Yes or no? So Java guy know how to call method. So we are going to give a clue that they're going to call a method of certain thing. But they are not going to write like find element, get element, da 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 da. They're going to call objects next method. They are going to call methods. But they already know how to call class method. So example, your department, and if you want to add department, then they can say department D dot add employees. They know that. So you're not going to teach them. They know it. They're going to go faster because they know that. What you are going to do is you're going to use this class. And here you're going to write a 3-4 line and you're done. During this journey, you're going to use a concept called page factory. Speak with me. So page factory is a miracle. What it does, page factory take this class and take this class, and then it will map this class to this page. It will map. Map means attributes automatically get pointers to this element. Attributes will automatically get pointers to this element. It means whenever you're touching this attribute, it will know you're touching username. When you are touching password, it will know you're touching password. If you say click submit, you know that you are clicking login. So this page factory does magic. Because those annotation you did, using this annotation, it will try to map web page with the Java object. So your code becomes significantly tiny, means 3 to 4 lines of code. If you don't do this way, then most of the code is here. And when it is here, this side, it's a QA responsibility. This side is a developer responsibility. So developer does very less and QA has to do a lot more. That's why QA always fall behind and QA have to work extra hours. But in this model, developer is also working with QA and you're only writing 3 lines of code. So you can easily go fast. And there are 5 people are helping you. So it's a divide and conquer. So you don't have to work on weekend and all. Your code is more readable. Makes sense, or not? Are we understanding? So for this exercise, we're going to do practical together. But before we do practical, I just want to show you example. Please pay attention. So I have a login page. Now anybody can see login page. That's my class. And think about the UI will be like this. Username, right? And there will be a like this and password, and there will be like this text box, and there will be a button called log. Do you guys agree on it? Now see how nicely we do that. So here, these are boilerplate code. You always write this WebDriver and login page because it's your constructor and you pass WebDriver there. This is a boilerplate code. Okay, so your attribute always WebDriver, and you do that. So it's just like a copy paste type thing. Always, there is no question, right? Now you can see here username. This is your variable. You can write any variable. Then you can say find by, which is annotation. And you're saying X path, and that X path of this guy. Now Java guy no X path. So for him, getting that, he can right click. Remember how we do console F12? Yes, sir. Console F12. He's gonna do that. So now that's it. He's done. He doesn't have to write a code, driver, find element, He doesn't have to. Automatically mapping will happen. Just writing X path. Let's say if there's an ID, what are you gonna write here? ID. If there's a name, he's gonna write name. So X path. How do I read this X path? Star means any element. And when I have rectangle means attributes. At name equal to username. So if attribute name is username, I want to point this thing. The same thing I do here. Check it out. And same thing we do this here. So now this Java object is so smart that it automatically points to this web page. Any questions so far? This is the only thing our developer needs to do. The developer knows XPath. They know more than us. So for them, it's not a problem. Now, developer says this button, we are going to say login, right? Yes or no? So developer is going to write a method name, login. And he's saying for login, QA, means you will pass username and password, right? So they will expect username and password from you, right? And once you get it, they will take this username and populate here and populate here. Make sense? They're not going to do anything. They're going to click on this object and populate. Once they populate it, they're going to use this button and they're going to do submit. So they don't have to do any QA kind of work. So check it out. Now this code. So whatever username you give, they are going to say, see, this is this is what the URL is right now. I'm using this URL. But whatever you are giving, they are using username. So for them, username is their element. You see, their element. So they will use the method send key, and the password is their element. You can see their path, their variable. So if I use P here, I would do that variable. And then they're using their objects and then click. So this is the only code they write, and this is not a QA code because they think this is the element and I have methods. These are send me, these are methods. So they're going to do, and we're done. So right now you can see this code is more Java flavor, and it's more readable. The method name is not taste or anything, it's a login. And these kind of things developer quickly write because they don't have to learn anything. They are using XPath, and this is the variable they're pointing. Their variable they're pointing, and they're writing business method, and they are expecting input. So example, if you have a contact us and you have multiple inputs. Like example, you have 5 inputs, then you have to pass 5 inputs here. Because as a QA, you pass something, right? You pass something and then you expect success or failure. If something goes wrong here, test fail. Do you agree or not? If something goes wrong here, test fail. Why? Because the throws exception will say no such element or other kind of thing. So it means your test fail. Make sense or not? So far the code is all Java. Do you guys agree or not? There's not much thing we are doing. Like remember, like annotation before setup, whatever we are doing. No, they are not going to do any of that. They are just doing pure Java. So for them, it's just a login page. Makes sense or not? And the same thing, there's a logout page. You can see the same concept. First lines are boilerplate code. Now in logout, there is a link here. That link we want to click here. So that's the, you're saying logout page, and you're giving XPath that if there is a text sign off is there somewhere, then point that. And now logout is the method. And here you are just using this variable and say click and you're done. So you can see how nice logout is. Pure Java. This thing is always boilerplate code that in order for this object to refer to the real page, you do need a web driver, right? So web driver through it kind of refer that page. Now, this is the XPath. So you must know XPath. That's why we spend time. We do have video also XPath. I would strongly suggest you watch XPath because without XPath, it's pretty hard because if you don't have ID, if you don't have a name, then XPath is the only way to go, right? So you can see here, XPath contains the sign-on. This element, after that, you're only using this element. Make sense? So first thing is a web driver, which you pass in a constructor. Constructors are exactly same. I pass it, and this is your attribute where you map this attribute with a web page. How you will map that? So this is anything, any name you can give. This will automatically go and find that because your annotation is find by. It will find this link and it will map. And here you're using the link. This method name can be any name, right? So Java people will do this part. Once they complete it, as a QA person, how easy it is for you. So QA person, your code is very simple. This is your test and you're done. So you start as a web driver and you can say this is $1 million line. Remember we use $1 million line? And then you are using Chrome driver. So this is the driver you set, whichever the driver you set now. I'm using Chrome driver. You are doing setup class. And then this is your test method. See how easy the test method is? You're going to say page factory. You are going to say init element, the driver which you set up, and then page which our developer has created. And then once you have that page, you're going to say in that page, call this method and pass username and password, and you're done. This is your test. You don't have to write any complex logic. This writing will not even take 5 minutes. So far, you're taking maybe 20 plus minutes. So maximum work is divide and conquer. And good news about it, what you are doing here is a boilerplate code. Always you will do this. Always you do this. Has nothing to do with your QA. Every time you will do. And then you start here. The space factory is always, driver is always, and this is the page by page. So example, first page is login page, then you use login page. The second page is logout page, then you will use logout page. And then once you do that, you are going to get the object, the page object, this is login page, and this is logout page. So login page, and then you call this method, pass the parameter, and you're done. So this is my login. And now if I want to go to logout, it's the same concept. You can see how easy it is. Same concept. Page factory, driver, logout class, and now you're creating a logout object. And then you just need to call logout, and you're done. Make sense? So any questions so far? So far, makes sense or no? Now, what I want you to do is, if you're in a forum,
I have a question.
go ahead, I have an answer.
So can we use this method that you're teaching right now
Mhm.
for our project, or it is like a...
You should. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying this is easy. Hello, please pay attention. This is very easy compared to what you're doing because this is reduce the code. You can write one method with page object, one method with normal, one method for BDD. Yes, it is. It's just a habit you build. I want you to try. That's why I'm teaching. Otherwise, what's the point to teach? But let me show you. This link I got from my login page. You see this link, right? So I want to show you this. So this is the link I copied. So this is long time back, 10, 12 years back. These applications, we used to receive it from HP, Mercury. So there was a tool called Mercury. We used to get this application. For some reason, they stopped it. And I found this thing somewhere here. So that's why I'm using it. But this is actually coming from HP. They had a QA mock application. So QA can test it out, this application. So that's why we are using. I could not find here, but I found in link, that's why I'm using. Now, this is the web page. If I want to know this thing, you know how I do? F12, right? Yes or no? So if I do F12, please see here. And if I click on it, right? And if I go here, I will get the username. Do you guys agree or not? Say yes or no. So if I don't want to do anything, there are many ways I can do. Find by name, I can do yes or no. Find by name. But in this code, which I'm using in my code, I have a username here. So what we are doing here, check it out. We are saying anywhere, attribute name is username. That is my username. Makes sense? So if I go here, and if I click here, then say anywhere, if attribute name is password, then it is a password. Makes sense? So if I go here, same thing, anywhere. So easy. I don't have to write a long, what do you call XPath, right? Because sometimes, let me just show you so you'll understand. Sometimes if I right click here, and if I say copy, and if I do XPath, sometimes XPath is very scary, sometimes. So if I copy it, you can see how scary it is. Do you agree? How scary it is? Do you agree? So what instead of that, what you are saying here is I can just remove all those things and I can do this thing. Anywhere input, then attribute name equals to user. Right? Do you guys agree or not? How easy it is? Because I know XPath. If I don't want to do input, I just want to do stop. That's why XPath is important. And that's why we cover that. Make sense? So you can simplify. So most companies are slowly moving to page object and BDD because it simplifies your test cases. BDD simplify a lot more. I'll cover that after break. But right now, any questions, concerns, doubt? If not, start your NetBean. We'll do this exercise. So you will do yourself, and I give you guarantee if you follow that, you will be able to do this lab. NetBean. I want you to be successful. Okay, so make sure you pay attention. Sometimes you focus your thing in a texting and you will lag that behind. I will really not going to stop. I will continue because we have before break we want to complete this lab, right? I have 30 minutes. So if you do it, I give you guarantee you should be able to do the lab. So 30 minutes, I would not even take 30 minutes. If you follow, we should be done in 20 minutes. So at this moment, if you have NetBean open, you know what we are doing. We're going to start Maven project. We have done so many times that you have been more comfortable now, right? New project. And that is the power of repetition, right? So you do Maven project and Maven project. In your case, it will be Java with Maven or Maven project, and you select applications. I'm going to do Maven and next. And here I can say my page object. My page object, as always, I have that. So I'm going to do one because I always have this kind of thing. So I'm using one. You don't have to do that. Just say my page object. So far. Finish. So as you finish, you will see that you will find the right now. My page object. Where did it go? Here we go. Right. So I have my page object. Please relax and pay attention. So this is my page object. Make sense? We are not going to write a single line. All will come from forum. So if you are not in a forum, make sure you are in forum, because we will be using forum a lot tonight. So I'll go scroll up, and first thing first, I have page object. Its logic starts from here. So I have page object, logic starts from here. If I scroll down, it says that you need a dependency. How many dependency? You need a 2. But please understand, we are not going to use JUnit. Please understand, because JUnit will not work for you. So we will use we need this dependency. So just copy dependency from here. Control C. So just copy it. Right? Control C. Right? Now, if you go to your main one dependency, there is no dependency yet because you have not started. Right? Don't do anything. I don't want you to write anything. Just we copy. We are going to create a test ng class. It will add a dependency, then we'll add our own dependency. So let's right click on our project, say new test ng test case, new test ng test case. So right click, new test ng test case, and then there you write here, you're gonna write here, we will do login test. So we'll say login test, and then write a package name test.com, login test, test.com, and finish. And finish. So far, so good. Everyone is doing good. So as soon as you finish, you will see now your palm.xml has nice. Go to palm.xml, you have nice dependency added. Yes, sir. After this dependency tag, press enter and do Control V, and you have your own dependency. Pretty good. This is supposed to be your second nature. We must have done 50 times this thing, right? Save it. There's no error. Good. Now, so now we are going to, please understand, we are going to create this package which called com.itxps, and we will be using this page. So let's copy, double click here, just double click here. So you will copy this class name, login page, double click, login page, login page, and then go to Gherkin and right click on a project, then say new Java class, new Java class. Make sense? Now here you do Control V because that's your class name. Remove the space if you have, and then package name supposed to be com.itxps. So this is your class name. If there is a space, remove the space here. And this is your package name. If you make a simple mistake, then copy paste won't work properly. And the reason it is because you are not really following correctly. So it's very important. Make sense on that? So login page com.itexps, right? So login page com.itexps, right? And finish. So what happened is it gives you first thing package name, and second thing it gives you this class name. Just to give idea, Java file name and class name has to be same. So if you already made a mistake, you cannot go further. You need to rename this thing and adjust that. You can do right click and rename or refactor and do that. But if you don't know how to do so, you have to delete and start over, right? There are two ways you can do. But normally people do right click, and in case if you made a mistake, you can just refactor, you can do rename, and it will solve the problem. Now, please understand, there are two things has to match: package name and class name exactly. For my case, it is matching. Do you agree? So in that case, I can copy from here to here. Check it out. I copy entire class like up to this. Control C. I started from my package. See here, I started my package and then I copy all the way to the last curly bracket. Control C and go to class and remove everything. Highlight whatever you have. Highlight everything what you have. Delete it first. And then Control V. Control V. And then save. You should not have any error. If you don't have an error, congratulations. If you already have an error, most likely that either you don't have a dependency downloaded or you have copy paste problem already. People on phone, give me thumbs up if you are following me so far. No one? No one is following? At least one person is saying. Remember? If you are not doing, then I can continue like that. You need to give me thumbs up if you are doing it. Because I know you guys are online and only Bharti thumbs up. Yeah, what about others?
I'm just trying to catch up.
Yes, we are doing copy paste, okay? We are not typing anything. I was expecting everyone should give me thumbs up. We just did copy paste, guys. Please don't worry about that. And this is our test class. I want you to understand first before you start copying. First, always you have two lines. Do you agree? Then you have this $1 million two lines. Do you agree? There's nothing special we are doing. So we may need these two, and we need these two. It is written before class. It means we are going to do a sequence. We're going to do login, and then we're going to do logout. Can I log out without login? No. So that's why I'm doing before class here, and then after class. Makes sense? Sir? If I am not doing that, then I would have done before setup method, right? So two lines here. We are not going to type. Remember, we're going to copy paste. Okay. So ideally, it should straightforward, right? So we're going to copy this two line. We're going to copy this time. Please understand first. We're just going to do in 2 minutes. So we're going to copy this. We're going to copy this. Now this method, please understand. We're going to copy this entire method. Why? Because our class name is already login page we created. The same class name with the class we are using. Everything else is coming from Selenium. And we are passing username Mercury and password Mercury. So we are going to do 4-5 steps, but we are not going to type. So follow the steps. Copy this two line. Control C. Make sure you understand it is going to be pasted after first curly bracket. Okay, you see this curly bracket after first curly bracket. So go to your login test, and after the first curly bracket, see my screen and do Control V. And then you can import. If you need to import your package, and you're done. First two lines are done. Right? So then that difficult, right? Copy two lines. Now go to these two lines. Control C. Remember.
Could you back the screen up a little bit so we could see what page you're on?
I'm sorry, which?
Could you back the screen out a little bit so we could see what page you're on or what section in the page you're on?
Are you talking about this one? Sorry?
Yeah, just so we can, so you're on logout page.
No, I'm not logon page. I'm in test page. I'm in a test page right now.
Below logout. Go down.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. I did not use logout yet. Logout I'll do later. So if you scroll down, see we were login page was here, right? We were here, login page, which we completely copied. And then there's a logout page. We are not going to do anything of logout page. And then scroll down and you will see my test page. My screen is not refreshing, right? Mike, you're with me or no?
I'm trying. I'm just.
Let's not worried about doing the right now. I would say please see here because it will seems like we have big latency between my screen versus your guys are. Maybe you can see that for because it will take like maybe 2 minutes for me to complete. And then you guys will do the watch recording. First understand the concept because it will delay entire class like 20 minutes each steps, right? Something is wrong. Maybe my screen is not refreshing enough. Okay. Please see here, those who are not able to catch up so far, I would say don't worry about it. Everything I'm showing you step by step from this. So pay attention on seeing that. So when you have time, you can do it. Goal of the exercise to understand rather than doing. So make sure you understand. So we copied these 2 lines, right? I have like 4 or 5 students in a classroom and I'm seeing their action. So they are able to do so, at least I'm able to go forward. And I'm highlighting the same screen, they are seeing the same screen. So based on that barometer, I'm showing you here. Now, please understand, we are going to copy these 2 lines, which is the setup, right? So check it out. I'm going to copy these 2 lines, Control C, and scroll down, and you will go to before class and press enter here. Check it out. Make sure you are inside this 2. You are in a before class, inside, after curly bracket, like that. You are this. You have error, you import the class. Okay. Please understand, we are showing this is something not new to you. You know that this is Gecko driver. You know how you do Chrome driver. These 2 lines are nothing but defining variable. Remember, we were doing Catalan, we were copying same concept. Now, this method you copy, you're done. Copy this method, taste, and you're done for login page. You copy this thing. And when you copy it, make sure you copy and go to your taste and go all the last curly bracket. Before the last curly bracket, you paste enter here. Before the last curly bracket. So this is the last curly bracket. You paste your method here and you import one by one. Make sure you import one by one. And I'm done. As always, save your class. So let me just, what's the issue? Yeah, you need to import it. Now let me repeat again. We are in a test, login test class. We added 2 lines, right? So when you watch recording, you can easily understand this coming 2 lines. And then in before class, we added 2 lines, right? And then at the end, we added this method. This method is coming from our forum. Now, how do you interpret that? You are saying this can be any method name, any name, you can write any name. As long as it test, it become a test. This is important. And you're using driver because you set up the driver as a variable. And login page, which we created to point, remember login page, we talk about annotation with username, right? Username, password. So you are using that page and the same page you're using here. And then once you have that, you're calling a method of this page. In the method of this page, you're accepting username and password, and then you're submitting. Let me show you that. So in this method, this is the method you are accepting input, and then you're going to call this, and then you're going to pass this thing, and you're going to submit it. So this is your login page. So always in a page object, you always have this thing. And then you have attributes. This attribute where user is interacting. user is interacting. This is a text box, this is the text box, and this is the button. And then this is the business method where you use all your attributes and do whatever you want to do with them, right? And then that's it. So this is your business method. This method we are calling from test. This is the method I'm calling from test. So everything looks good, save it. Now right click and test it and see what happens. So it will open, login successful.
The dependency from the forum didn't work for me. When I add the one that we are using now, the test pass.
Okay. Which one you are using? Leah, what?
The one that we're using for in the last other classes.
See, guys, very nice, Leah. And that's what I'm saying. Test ng you did many lab. Yes or no? So whatever dependency you have used, use that from last project, right? Should be fine. Whatever we are doing right now has no change in a test ng. Test ng, the class is exactly. So last week, if you have done test ng, pick that thing, put it there. You should not have multiple dependency because multiple dependency will create a confusion. It will fight. If you have better, makes sense or no? So adding dependency is not a good thing. See his work also, he worked, right? Because this is not a new thing. This is the reason last week, whatever we have done, that's all we are doing. This is what we do, right? Always we do. This 2 line we always do. And then we do this thing. If you see this code, this is coming from only Selenium jar only. So the jar we are using already. Good. Okay. Those who are able to do, because we want to make sure we continue. Those who are able to do, I'll go back to the site. I want to first explain one more time. We did login page. Yes or no? This is the class. And now I'm going to do logout page. Please pay attention. 2 more minutes and we're done. First, the logout page. Please see on the screen, because remember, learning should not disappear because of your machine is not working. Because your machine is not working means maybe a numbers of reasons. But good news, if you understand, you will always be able to figure it out. So please understand. We are going to create logout page, and the logout page is a Java class. We are going to add one attribute, which is here. This attribute we're going to add, but this is also part of our COM package. So we are going to create this thing. So double click here, and copy this on. Double click here and copy the name of the class. Don't go forward. Just make sure you follow the steps correctly. Copy this thing. Now, please click on your package COM-IT-XPS. Copy this. Click on this. Click here. Make sure you see on the screen and do it right. Okay, select the package, right click and say new Java class. Right click, new Java class. Right click, new Java class. And in that new Java class, you paste that class name, which is the logout page. So please understand, we are creating under this package new Java class, which is logout page. Remember, this is easier part than ever because you are just doing copy paste. The only thing you need to remember is your machine style. Your machine has a different version, so you need to know. And I think by the time you must have done at least 30 times paste ng part, right? So now you're going to do finish. So this will give you skeleton about package and about class. What we are going to do, we're gonna keep this thing. Please understand, we're gonna keep this thing. We're gonna remove this part. We're gonna remove this part. and we will bring that code from the forum. So please select here, check it out, highlight this thing, go to forum. Please understand, go to forum and highlight. So you can highlight entire logout page from forum up to this. Make sense? Control C. Control C. Remember, we don't have package here, so we are going to take up to import, right? Now here, keep the package and highlight this portion and then do Control V. So what will happen? It will remove this and replace that other thing. So highlight and Control V, and you're done. Was it hard at all? Remember I said 2 minutes activity? Everything is a boilerplate code. This is a boilerplate code, and this is logout, right? We are linking them. Now, please understand, you have created a class. Please see on the screen. You created a class, and there is a business method called logout. So I need to create a test method in my test-ng class, which should refer to this class and call this method. That's it. So in test-ng, I need to add another method for logout. So go back to our forum and scroll down. We have done everything. Now we are going to copy this method called execute logout page all the way up to here. See here, up to this. So this method, you start from here, paste all the way to up to here. Execute logout page, you start, and there's a curly bracket here. In a test-ng class, right? So you're going to copy this. Please understand, copy this, Control C. And now go to your login test, which is this one. Login test. And then after the previous test, do Control V. After the previous test, so this is the test was there, and you add a test, and now you import it. Import your logout page and your logout. So logout page, why it's right here? I import, right? Why it is that? Cannot found logout page, spelling mistake or what? Or maybe it's not built it completely. No. Logout page, sometimes spelling. No, it looks good, right? Okay, it's done. It was compiling maybe. Let me repeat, just to make sure. In login test, we just added this method. So this method, what it does, it uses the same concept as the previous method. See here, this line is same. This was referring to login page, so there is a login page. This is referring to logout page, so there is a logout page. Then there is a sleep. I just want to give a sleep so you can see, and then logout happens, then happen, and the close will happen. Okay, now save it and run and say ta-da. Your QA work is significantly reduced. Do you guys agree? Significantly reduced by page object. And you can see now it's opening. It's typing Mercury. So it is going to wait for that, and then it's going to click on the sign off, and it click on sign up, and you're done, right? So you notice that I have not written a single line of code. Everything from forum I have used, and the reason I have given you forum so you can play around, but everything step by step, it's here. We have two, see, dependency. If you have different dependency here, then you are going to use different version, but otherwise nothing to change. Do you guys agree? This only dependency. So if I go to my Maven, I have two dependency, right? If I go to my Maven, you have two dependency. Don't add more dependency. Maybe you have different version here, but that's pretty much it. And this is a test engine, and this is dependencies. So you should not have red color anywhere, right? Now, in the login page, entire page I copy. Make sure your package name is matching as mine package, and everything matching, right? And then logout page, same concept. Package is still same. Everything is matching. We are just doing logout. And the login test, two methods we copy from there. And both has a similar page factory. And then once you get object, you are calling that method. Once you get object, you're going to call the method. About two things which you are very familiar. This two lines we're adding, and then you're adding this thing in a before class. You're familiar because we are doing Gecko driver, right? Any questions, concerns before we take our first break? Make sense? Right? I was expecting everyone should be able to run, but some reason things like my screen was not able to refresh or something, but at least you should try. Okay? Let's take a break. After break, we'll
For
do
this one,
Yeah, go ahead. Hello. Hello, you were saying something?
yes, I was saying something like for the last week we did, or week before,
Uh-huh.
the other login test we did with
Uh-huh.
the Excel file and everything, where we put the information in the Excel file, the program automatically reads it. So why would we use this one to do manual, like a password and username?
You can these things. You can use that logic. You can call your logic and say get username, get password. So page object with data-driven test, you can do that. Nothing wrong.
Oh, we can do that one. Okay,
perfect. I'm
okay.
trying to give you concept about page object. But the data, if you want to read from Excel, please do so. You just call your utility file util.
Yeah.
You can just say file util, right? File util dot get login, and then say get username, get password. That's it, and you remove that. But do you think this is a lot simpler than other one?
It is. It is.
It is extremely simple. Most of the code is readable. There is nothing. There is no hard code. There is no scary code. And the Java guy can easily do Java work because they like this Java work. So they are very within a half an hour they are ready to do productive coding work. So that's why people like page object. The only thing you are doing additional thing is this page factory, which map the class to the page. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Let's take a break. Indeed did not give me anything. So Selenium, right? Selenium, BDD job. Let's say we do that way, right? So right now, Infosys, Atos, these are companies, right? Let's see here. They're clearly saying lead Java, Selenium, BDD, mobile. So BDD is here, and you can go further. But let's see if I go inside what they're asking, because we need to always look for what people are asking so we can be prepared. And let's see here. See, they're asking here. Look at that. TDD, BDD, right? Right? And now they're asking API services. So that is called web service tester, right? They're asking all those good things. So this kind of way, this kind of job will help you a lot. So example, Zfire. Zfire is nothing but Jira with QA. JUnit, TestNG, very good, right? Java unit test framework, Jira integrations, good. So you can see there are so many small things they're asking. Right now, they're using lab. So when they say lab is nothing but kind of Selenium grade, but they're using that also. Agile development methodology, Selenium is here, automation framework, right? Very good. So such kind of job, 60-70% Cucumber. Ooh, that's the BDD. That's what we're going to cover today. Cucumber. Yeah. And there are many more things. But such kind of jobs, you're well prepared if you know the BDD. BDD, nowadays, most companies asking. So what is this BDD and how it works? So you don't have to do lab along with me because the page object was the easy one I gave you. BDD has a lot more moving parts. So I want you to understand. So the way BDD starts with the one question in mind, that why product owner and developer and QA are not on the same page. Because what QA does, it does quality check. But why QA has to do quality check? Because whatever product owners say, developer is not doing that. Do you guys agree or not? That's simple. Whatever product owner say, developer is not doing that. And the developer does, the QA doesn't need job. Technically, there is no need a QA. Many people say that. I don't need QA because we do awesome job in development. Everything we as a developer thoroughly validate. Then you don't need a QA at all. But whenever the product owner say 5 items, right? Developer may miss maybe 1 item, he miss 4 items. Or product owner say 1 with A, B, and C. Product developer does 1 and 2, but forget about the second item. So developer normally make mistake. That's our assumption. The reason we make mistake because this guy talk in English and this guy talk in technical. And that's the problem. And our role is to make sure they are combined, means connected. If they're not connected, wherever we have difference, we call defect. Make sense? So these all 3 groups are talking totally different language. And that's why we have a hard time. So BDD say, wait a minute. If we all have to work on 3 people, why can't we work all in the same page? So we all can be on the same page. And that is start BDD. B stands for behavioral. Behavioral means user. How user does? Driven development. So if we know user sequences, what user is going to do, if we know it, if we can replicate that behavior, then we know it's working. So example, if I have a remote button, and before I start remote, I know my product owner said that I need a action where I can start remote, I need stop remote. So if my product owner say I need 2 functions, start story, start remote, so start projected, stop projected. So now if I'm a QA, I have to test that. Do you agree on? Any user is going to use product, I as a QA will be testing that. So that's called behavioral. How user is going to do. So far what we are doing, we don't care about user. We care about what developer has developed. Because if developer develop 5 methods, then I have to check all 5 methods. I do not think about user. I think about developer. And developer already made a mistake. So I am actually confirming his mistake. But I'm not really certifying how user will use the system. So BDD said, wait a minute. Developer can make mistake. Why can't we straight understand what product owner is saying? And from product owner, think about what customer is going to use this system and we develop. And that's called BDD. So now we as a QA, rather than understanding programming called Java, we need to understand what our product owner is looking for. Yes or no? And then developer should also know what customer is looking for. So if we all are understanding product owner, then all of 3 people are on the same page. It means 0 defect. So far what happened? We get a translation, right? Who does first? Product owner. He writes the story. He writes story. Then who works? The developer works. He writes task. Yes or no? So part of the task he writes methods. And then we come later, which is the QA, right? And what we focus is, our focus as a QA to test all those stories, methods, rather than we kind of focus here more and we forgot about what was the original ask. Yes or no? So now BDD say this is the not right approach. BDD say right approach is start from story and acceptance criteria. All acceptance criteria, test it out. If this guy has done that, all acceptance criteria should pass. We shouldn't be testing what developer has done. We should test what customer is going to do. And if we test it, guaranteed, product will be better because customer, when they see that, it's going to work because you tested it. In this model, we don't know that whatever customer is testing, did we test? Not sure. Make sense? So BDD, fundamental thing, how customer is going to use the system, I'm going to test it. Clear? Now, the question is, product owner write English and we write technical code, Selenium. So we are not on the same page. So now we have to learn a language where we can educate each other with the same language. So now they have introduced a new concept called Gherkin. So Gherkin. Gherkin is a language they introduce that helps you to bring three people together. So let me go to my forum. In my forum, I'll walk you through everything I have here. So if I go to my forum all the way, where's my page? All the way here you go. So I'll go to categories. You can follow me in case if you want to see. In quality assurance, I have written recently a concept called BDD tester. Like this. BDD. Now BDD test case is a hard carrying in the market, and as I said before, you are expected to know in interview. And I encourage you to do. I know project is due next week. If you cannot do BDD, I will not be having any problem. I page object like that. But later on, you need to know BDD, because if you do not know BDD, then you will have a little bit problem in interview, because they will expect you to know BDD. BDD is not different than Selenium. There is a little bit layers are there, just like page object. There is a layer, and that layer I'm going to clarify. So if I click on BDD test case, I can see BDD concept, and with the explanation I talk about that when product owner writes, then developers, we are going to use a language called Gherkin. Now Gherkin has a very simple 5 words: given, when, then, and and. So right now, given I'm in a classroom, when I'm teaching, right, then I will go home, something like that. So given means precondition. Given I'm in a classroom, it means I'm in a classroom. When I'm teaching, means I'm making action, right? And so multiple actions. So like example, given I'm in a classroom, when I start projector means I do action, means I either click it or type it and start computer. Then start teaching. So given, when, and then. Then means post condition. So let me show you. Given I'm in Google search page, say yes. Given I'm in Google search page, am I speaking in English? Right? When I type basketball in a search box, basketball, still English. Given I'm in Google search page, when I type basketball in a search box and press enter, then I see this page. Makes sense? Let's go to Bank of America. Given I'm on a Bank of America homepage, yes, sir. It's okay to say yes, right? Given I'm on a Bank of America homepage, and when I type username, password, and click login page, then I should see account homepage. Makes sense, sir? Now help me in Amazon. How should we do? Help me. Speak up.
Given when I'm on Amazon.
Given I'm in Amazon homepage and search, when I search basketball and press enter, then I see basketballs list of basketball products or product list. Let's go to IMDb. Given I'm in IMDb homepage, right? When I type like Speed, that's the movie name, right? And press enter, then I see, what am I going to see? This thing. Makes sense, sir? So the benefit of that entire thing in English, entire thing is English, Given means precondition. When means action. And then means post condition. How can you be wrong here? Because you already know before what you start, what you are doing, and what you are expecting. If you are that clear, do you think developer will make mistakes? Do you think QA will make mistakes? Right? If I know it that clear in English, it's a lot easier than anything else. Because so far, product owner was not writing this way. So now, some company, not all, some companies started with Gherkin this way. So when you're writing story in your Jira, they write story this way. Remember, we write who, what, why. We are not really writing now that way. We are writing this way. Because who, what, why has a lot of confusion. But here, given I am on this page, acceptance criteria, it's a lot easier to write story like this. So sorry, acceptance criteria like this. So you write acceptance criteria in a Gherkin language. If you write in Gherkin language, then same language developer will use and same language QA will use. This is your starting point. So far, so good. So you are not going to get English acceptance criteria. You're going to get in this language. This is the language, and that is called Gherkin language. So we're going to use that Gherkin language in order for our starting point. Now, as I explained, so we are here. Oops, here. Now, if I go further, you can read about that. But these are the only words you need to understand. Clear? Given, when, then. Now let's talk about scenario. So there is just like in a Agile, we have feature or epic. Feature or epic. Feature on epic has multiple stories. Yes or no? Same thing here. The main thing is a feature, and feature can have multiple scenarios. So think about login. So login is a feature. Login is a feature, and scenario is correct username, correct password, and you hit the button, you get the right. Scenario number 2, incorrect username, correct password. Scenario number 2, incorrect. Scenario number 3, empty, right? Scenario number 4, locked user. So in one feature, how many scenarios you can have?
5 or 6.
Many. It's okay to say many, right? Such kind of question people will ask you. So one feature can have many test cases, and instead of test cases, what they're going to say? Scenario. And you are selecting scenarios. Scenario means sequence, because user will perform various sequence. So far we were more focusing on test case. Here we are more focusing on user sequences. What user does, and whatever user does, that's called scenario. And login with correct username, correct password, one scenario. Login with correct username, incorrect. So many scenarios. If I test all scenarios, system is good quality. You guys agree? Yes or no? So we are going to have feature file. So this kind of things we will write as a feature file. Which kind of file? Feature file. And that feature file will be pure in English. And we need a plugin. Please understand. We need a plugin. That plugin will read this feature file, and translate into Java, Selenium, Java code. Listen carefully. We need a feature file. That feature file will read it. We will use a plugin. We are not going to write. Plugin will write the Java code for us. So your skeleton, it won't write everything, but it will write a skeleton, complete skeleton, the way user is going to perform, or the way story, or the way acceptance criteria is written. So let me explain. Scenario, user click the link. So given I am on home page, when I click on the provide link, then I should say. So if my test case has the first line this, second method has this line, third, it means I'm covering entire scenario. Yes, sir. So this line will be one method. This line will be another method. This line will be another method. So if business says, did you tested this? Our answer should be yes. Did you tested this? Our answer should be yes. Did you tested this scenario? Our answer is yes. So if you have multiple scenario, our answer is yes. So do you think then there will be a gap? Answer is no. The only way there will be a gap if I miss the scenario. But when I'm talking scenario, we are all talking English. It's a lot easier. So example, door is open. What would be another scenario?
Somebody can close the door.
Door is also closed. What would be another scenario?
Door is half open.
Half open or door is broken. Makes sense or no? Now, because we are talking about user perspective, our light bulb goes up. Because when we think about doing part, we focus on our part, their part. But when you think about creativity, because when you think from user perspective, example, if I remote, then it's normal what user is going to do. So this is user is going to press button. So what you expect? Okay, that's a, what if we press this button? So now we are talking user actions. That's called behavior. And because you do behavior, all permutation about user you're going to put in your feature file. And in one feature file, how many scenarios you can have? Many. So if you have product and your product has a 5 feature, how many files you will have? 5 files.
5.
Each feature 1 file. In one feature, if you have 100 scenario or 10 scenario, doesn't matter. Make sense? And your plugin will read each feature file and generate Java code for it. But the Java code will be empty. Inside Java code, we're gonna put Selenium code. Make sense? Now that Selenium code can be page object, it can be data driven, it can be pure Selenium code, everything is possible. Make sense, sir? You are allowed to combine. You are allowed to combine data driven, page object, Selenium, everything you can do, whatever you do, but you start with the feature file. So who writes feature file? Technically speaking, product owner go in Jira, they write story and they write acceptance criteria in a Gherkin language. Acceptance criteria in Gherkin language. You're gonna copy that acceptance criteria. You're gonna copy the acceptance criteria and put in a feature file. And that becomes your starting point. You are writing through feature file, but you're not going to write one by one word from feature file. You're going to copy from Jira, and Jira you have access. So you are copying all the Gherkin acceptance criteria and create a feature file. And then you run the plugin, and plugin will do all the magic. Make sense? Huh? And when plugin does the magic, what will happen? You will have empty code. But then you know, if in empty code, like example, listen carefully. If I say, given I am on a Google homepage, what is the Selenium syntax to go to there? Given I am on a Google homepage, how would I go to Google homepage using Selenium syntax? Driver.get, right? And now I am in a Selenium page. So when I do that, I should do assertion. The title is homepage, yes or no? Because it's a given, so I should do assertion. When I click, when I type basketball, so you know how to find the element, and then you send basketball, yes or no? And I press enter. You're gonna do click. Then I expect this page. So you're gonna, whatever the page you have, you're gonna get title, and then you're gonna verify. So you're not doing anything different. From Selenium user perspective, you are not really learning anything different. The only thing you need to know is how Gherkin is converted in a Java. Make sense? Rest of the things you know everything. But the problem is the code we are doing right now, the new NetBean, you do need to do a little research about that plugin. The plugin which I'm using it's working on a 1.8. It also works in Eclipse. But the plugin which you are trying to do in your NetBean, it doesn't work. So this type of work, you have two choices. One, you find which plugin will work. That's one. Or you can install Eclipse and you do this exercise and it will work. Make sense? So right now, if I go scroll further, I have this video. It does explain about how to do in Eclipse. If I go further, this is the plugin please see here so you will understand and relax. You are not going to do any lab right now. You just see here. Give me 20 minutes. So this is a plugin. This plugin knows how to read Gherkin syntax and convert into Java. Eclipse also have the plugin how to read Gherkin syntax and convert into Java. But in order for that, you need a plugin. Plugin by default available in NetBeans and Eclipse. You can just add it. Some of you have a newer version, you may not have plugin, but older version have plugin, so I use it. Now, if you use this plugin in your machine, you can download this plugin. The plugin file will work. NBM, this is the plugin file. You download. I'll show you how to do processor. You may try, but don't do JUnit. Do test engine. Don't do JUnit. You're gonna do test engine. Okay. So everything explained step by step. How to do plugin. Everything. How to install. How to restart. Anytime you install plugin, you need to restart the network. So plugin, how to install. So let me just show you. You don't do anything. So drag the plugin NBM from download folder to NetBeans, right? And install the plugin. So here, let's say if I download the plugin like this. So I download the plugin. So this plugin I have already copied. So I'm downloading the plugin. So plugin, this NPM file, you can download it. So just download. So the download plugin is downloaded. So you can see this NPM file you download. Once you download the NPM file, you can go to tools. You see the tools and you do plugin. Same thing in Eclipse, you will have tools and plugin. Now plugin means addable program. So you click on plugin. Now you can see here your options: updates, available plugin, and downloaded plugin. So you can see here available plugins mean these are the plugins you have. So if you write BDD like that, so if there is a plugin for BDD or Cucumber, so you can see here like that. When you search, you will find in Eclipse. Right now, you are not able to find this plugin. So that's why I have downloaded separate. Now, when I download it separately, whatever you downloaded, you can say downloaded, you click on it and say add plugin. So when I click on add plugin, I go to place where I downloaded the plugin, right? So if I go all the way and I go to download, it will automatically show me NPM, right? Same thing you will do for Eclipse. Now, if I do open, it will say it's already installed for me. Otherwise, it will start giving you next, and it will install. The problem is these plugins depends on the Java. So if you use older plugin, it might have error. Newer plugin, you will not have an error. Make sense? So right now, you do need to find that plugin. Make sense or no? If you cannot find, Eclipse by default have, if you search available in Eclipse, and if you search Cucumber plugin, you will find it, then you check it and you install it. So let's assume I have installed the plugin, right? Now relax and see what I do. See here, relax and see that I have installed the plugin. First, I'm going to do file, new project, Maven. Don't do anything, just relax and see. So it's a my BDD 1 or 2 or 3. So my BDD. So I just normal Java. There is nothing special. Don't be scared, nothing. It's all you already know. Concept is important. Make sure you understand the concept, and that is what I'm going to spend time right now. So I have my BDD. You can agree that I have nothing, there is nothing special, simple Java Maven project. Do you guys agree or not? Very simple Java project. Now, the first thing we need to do is understand the steps. The first thing you need to do for BDD is to create a folder. And that folder we call features. What do we call? Features. And inside features, we can write any feature file we want. Make sense? So the features, and inside that we will do feature files. So if I go to my forum, I have given step-by-step instructions. So if you do this thing, you can see here, create a source package, features. Make sense? So check it out. I double click here. I want you to understand the process. So I create a features, spelling feature, and I go to my BDD, a source package, right? I can do here or here, doesn't matter. I'm going to click here and I say new folder, and I'm going to say feature, just like a folder. Make sense? So that's the feature. So that will create a folder features. Now these features folder I have, but inside that feature folder, I'm going to create a file. That file will be feature file. What kind of file? Feature file. Because I have installed plugin, check it out. If I right click, new, other, right click, new, other, I will have a somewhere options called Cucumber. Do you see that? This is option only I get if I install plugin. So in Cucumber file, I'm going to create empty Cucumber feature file. Empty Cucumber feature file. Right? So if I click on that, and if I go to next, it will ask me the file. So here I'll write Google or anything I can write because I'm tasting like Google or Costco or am I tasting Pizza Hut, write that name. Makes sense or not? Now, once you do that, you finish, it will create an empty file, and that's the feature file. And that feature file under folder. So far, so good. Now, this is a special type of files. So it will convert colors and all. It will convert colors and all. When you write it, it will do a little bit hint also. So good news, I have this feature file written. Indeed search. We all know Indeed search, right? So scenario, Indeed search scenario. Given user is already on home page. When title of home page is Indeed, user enter data to job title and city. User clicks find jobs. User is search result. So all those things user is going to do. Make sense? So right now I'm going to copy this thing as is. Control C. Right? And remember who writes that? Product owner writes that. So we don't have to really worry about. You can see how color it happened. Now this is Indeed. So I can change my feature file name is Indeed. So I right click here and I can say rename and I'll say Indeed. It makes more sense, right? If we use proper name. So far, so good. Now please understand. This, if you made a mistake and if you want to change this thing, naming you can change anytime because this is just a text, right? You always make sure you understand. Right now, one feature, if I copy this thing and create another scenario, I can create this scenario also. Don't try to do duplicate, otherwise you're gonna cry. So you can say scenario 2, and then you can write that. So in one feature file, you can have multiple scenarios. Right now, we're gonna start with one scenario. So first of all, now in this thing, there are data, like example, say job title, city, where user is gonna type, yes or no? Are you guys understanding? When user is typing, that thing you should write in an angular bracket like that. So if you write in angular bracket or dollar, I think it's they are using dollar or angular. We'll see that in few minutes. If you write like the angular or dollar, then it will automatically understand this is the parameter where user is going to enter. So when it creates a method, it will expect parameters that you will be passing. So you can pass your parameter here itself. Make sense? So BDD also allows you to parameterize your test cases, which is kind of good. And entire thing is a text file. So anybody can change anytime, yes or no. So it's kind of a lot easier. So our product owner can also run the BDD test because it's easier. For time being, we are keeping this. Any questions so far? So far, so good. So do you agree that I created a feature folder first? And then I created a feature file. Now, it's time for me to create a test, simple test case. That test case, I will run it. Listen carefully. I'm going to run Cucumber test case. Cucumber test case is a runner. So runner has a steps. So it first will see folder called features and see how many feature file you have. And each feature file, how many scenarios you have. It will try to see for this scenario, do I have a Java code? Do I have Java code? If not, it will generate for you. If it is there, it will execute for you. If it is not there, it will generate for you. If it is there, it will execute for you. So who's going to do? Runner. Make sense? So now my second step is creating a runner. Good news, I have done for you. This will work exactly same in Eclipse as well as in Netbeans. So you can see here I have a runner. There's nothing, I need to just add this thing. So I'm going to create a class. I'm going to create a class called run cucumber test, but that is I'm doing for JUnit. We should be doing test engine, right? So let me right now do that. So if I right click here and I say new test ng test case, makes sense or not? So if I do test ng test case and I'll say I copy Control V, that's my runner, and I create a package test.com, and I will delete everything. So test ng test, I'm gonna delete everything. I do not need any of them, just empty class I need. Makes sense or not? I do not need any of them. So far so good, empty class. So far so good. And now I'm going to go here and I'll explain what we're going to do. So I am saying run with cucumber class. How does cucumber came in picture? We don't have cucumber dependency. So this is not going to work. We need to add dependency. Yes or no? So there is a lot more dependency we need to add, which I already found it. But it worked for me because I found for my version. It is possible some of you may need to change the version according to your what do you call Netbeans. That cucumber, then I will import this. Then I'll say cucumber option, I will import it. Yes or no? Now plug in pretty. Pretty means when I create a code, it should format nicely. Pretty means format nicely. And then features equal to features, that's our folder. Remember we create a folder? And dry run false. Dry run false means don't run dry, just make it run. Successfully run, just like a normal test. So I'm going to copy this portion just like this and paste it. It will cry. It will cry because I don't have a necessary dependency. So if I try to do that, it will try to say here JUnit, right? All those, I don't want to do JUnit right now. So I'm going to save it. Now I'll go back and go up, and you can see this many dependency I have. Already I have found the dependency. So I'm going to copy all the dependency. Already I have done. In your case, you may have a version conflict, which you have to find it. So if I go here, now pom.xml, the only thing I need to do is I'm going to remove this thing because test.ng was just empty class. I'm removing it. Now I do Control V because all my dependency I put it. So this way my dependency is here. Now I save it. I remove my dependency for, I have dependency 2 times. Sorry for that. So I'll remove that. And yeah, I have 2 times. So I'll remove this as well. So now I have dependency here. So many dependencies we have. Do you see that? Now I'm using here JUnit. You may be using test.ng because your JUnit won't work. I noticed that Jupyter doesn't work. So you need to change to test.ng. There might be a little bit change required, but it is doable. So there is no problem here. Now I go here, and if I click here, it will allow me to import the class. So I'm going to import one by one, and I'm importing Cucumber and importing, and I'm done. I have not written a single line of code. Do you agree? So let's repeat again. What are the steps we did? First, we created a feature folder. Then we created a feature file. Once we create a feature folder and feature file, then we created an empty class. And in empty class, we added all runner details. Once we did that, we got an error. So we went to POM and we added dependency. I'm using JUnit. You will be using test.ng. So you have to change the JUnit. This jar you have to change to test.ng because your code may not work with JUnit because you are using JDK 1.1617. So you may need to use test.ng. And then respectively, you have to change the thing. When you do it, let me know. I'll update the I will update the forum so other students will get benefit also. Once you save it, now I'm trying to run the program. Now this program will only run if it is finding this feature folder. If feature folder it founds, then it will try to see this feature has associated Java class. This Java class is not there, it's going to cry. So what normally people do, because these are feature file has user steps, feature file has user steps. So basically this Java program we call step definition. Speak with me. Step definition. Step definition means step 1, step 2, step 3. It is not there, so this guy will create for you. Make sense? So let's see that if it is doing or not. So right click, test it. So if it creates, it will create a code for me in the console. So right now, if it creates, it means it understood my structure very well. So right now it errored out, which I was expecting, right? But it is saying that not a file or directory. So it did not find directory. Now you can see where it is looking directory. Please understand. It is looking directly under this folder, features. And I created features a little bit down. So I can drag this guy and drop it here ideally, right? Yes or no? But here I cannot drag and drop. So if I go to files, files menu, and if I go here, you can see my feature file is a little bit down. If I try to drag here, still I'm able to not drag it. But my console perspective, this is supposed to be somewhere here. So how do I do that? So there's a trick here. You right click on that, go to property and select the path, Control C. Right click, property and select the path, copy that. And then go to your what you call file explorer and see what you have feature here. Now do Control X and go up to this level, and do Control V. So now you can see now I have moved, this is the project and I have moved my feature folder here. Make sense or no? If I go back to here and if I just click here, you can see now feature folder is moved here, right? So now I will try to run again. Right click, test file, and see if it is fine. Until it finds, it will not generate the Java class. See, it generated. It did generate it. You can see nicely code is generated. Make sense? Now you can notice that it is showing color also. So each line, it created a method. See here, each line, it created a method given. The next one, there is another method when, another method when. Make sense or no? So this is the Java code it generated. Any questions so far? Who generated Java code? Plugin generated Java code. So plugin was crying, so I move my feature file all the way up, and now I'm able to do. So it is a time for me to now go back to project, and now I need to create a Java class, and I can cut and paste this code. So now I'm in a test file and say new Java class, and I can give any name. So I'll say S capital step definition. Make sense? I can give any name. And then whatever I see in the console, right? Whatever I see in a console up to this, I try to paste it inside the class. I paste it. So when I paste it, you can see now it is showing given, and I can import that because that is coming from Cucumber. And I don't want to say throw pending exception because I'm going to write a code. Yes or no? So I'm going to import that, and I'm going to remove this pagination part. So these are going to be a method in my empty class, Java class. So I remove the throw part, and I can do that. Make sense or no? You notice that all the words are coming from feature file. So if I modify my feature file, I need to regenerate the code. Yes or no? So it's very important, and that is where product owner can understand this line item. Yes or no? Because this is English, and you understand your item. Do you guys agree? So you are exactly understanding what product owner wants, and you're testing. So there won't be any doubt or confusion. And every scenario you will be testing. So what I have done is I have done that same setup here. I have created this code, right? And then I have created full code here. Check it out. In step definition, the 2 lines, you know what we always do. Do you guys agree or not? Then in a given, we do the $1 million line. Do you guys agree or not? And then we do this thing, and then we do this. So that is the first line. User is already in home page. So now this one will create a home page because you are indeed home page, right? This code is your Selenium. You know how to write Selenium code. Now you're saying a title home page indeed. So you're doing assert equal to job search indeed. If it is passed, you're moving forward. Because if you open indeed, there will be title, and that has to be this. Then you're saying user enters data job title and city. So you are now doing XPath, and you're entering send keys this. Make sense or no? This code we know very well because we have done Selenium, right, Alina? Right? So same thing if you do find jobs, right? You can do that same exercise here. The more important part is this code, you already know it. I have seen people who know Selenium 100%, but when they go in interview, people say, do you know BDD? The answer is no, and they don't get job at all. But BDD is nothing but, it is a Selenium. The only 2 steps which you need to understand. Take the Gherkin file, create a step feature file. From feature, create a step definition. And once you create step definition, use your Selenium skill. Make sense? So right now I have done all those things ready. So I'm going to copy this code till the last curly bracket. And I'm going to remove here, same thing. I'm going to remove and keep the last curly bracket because that's my class code. So first I'll empty like this and I'll paste the code. The code is pretty straightforward. You already know, just you need to import and you're done. And import. You will be using test engine. Okay. And import and import. Perfect. Now, when I run this code, there is nothing special. Same as your Selenium, but I cannot run this. I only run runner. Make sense? So now runner goes to feature file and see that is there a mapping step definition? Yes. This class name can be any name. It will automatically map this one. If it is finding all mapping, it will open the Google Chrome and it will start executing the order the steps are written. And check it out. So I go to Cucumber, right click, and I say paste it. Oops, I got an error. So it's a given user error, the driver executable does not exist because I use data 1. Or it's supposed to be data because when I was doing this exercise, I had some issue, so I did data. So data, because my driver, remember Gecko driver, is in data folder. I have to spend a lot of time to do this kind of forum and step-by-step instruction. If you spend maybe 2-3 times, if you do this exercise, then you will understand. Still have a problem. So what's the problem? It says, what is the problem? No tests were executed. Why? Oh, my mistake. I had to run. I have to run Cucumber here, runner, right? I was running step definition. You have to run runner. So make sure you run from runner. Step definition is just a class. It's being executed and it's going to open now. And come on, open. Open. Yes. Did you notice? Ta-da! It's going to type it. Check it out. It's going to type. Look at that. Do you guys agree? Beautiful. It's going to do it all and then it close it. And you're done. And then behind the scene, you can see right now one test failed, something failed, and you can see here why it is failed. So you can see here, given user is already home page, pass. So that step these are the user step pass, but these are failed. I purposefully did that so you can see why it is doing that. So you can see this is the user is on search result failed. This is failed. Why it is failed? So if I double click on that, and I have to go, what happening here? What happened? So there is this scenario, user is on search result page, indeed search this. So now I go to my step destination and somewhere here the problem happened. User is on search page. So I'm searching Java job employment in Chicago. Now if I go to this thing, you can see they have changed now. Flexible Java job in Chicago. Do you see that? So it's not going to match. Do you guys agree? So flexible Java. So if I see this title, the title is different now. When I did this exercise, title was different. So rather than I say, I can say just like just Java. I'm going to just say Java. Is that okay? So Java, because flexible and all they have added. So now I'm going to close this browser and now go to runner and now see what happens. Writing through BDD is so much fun. Why? Because you can see from user action and your quality drastically improve because everyone is now talking in a language product owner is talking. And product owner thinks from user perspective. So right now it's going. And now job search and somewhere Java. So seems like it's gone through and test pass. So now if you click here, you get the result, and the test result is very nice as a user step. Do you guys agree or not? Now, any questions so far? Sometimes company just ask, do you know BDD? What is BDD? Just high level concept. So BDD means behavioral driven development, where you are mimicking user action, what user is going to do. Now, these parameters you can also pass. You can pass this parameter through your step files, which is if I go to files and if I go to features, I can pass the parameters here. I can pass the parameters. I can do that parameter passing. Another interesting thing you can do. And the report which you get here, right now, this is called simple report. But if you go to maven.palm.xml, in there you can add a Maven plugin for nice report, very good report. So base report you will get from test engine. So you can write nice plugin here to generate a report. So if you scroll down, I have added some information here to generate the report. So for a better reporting purpose, I'm going to add this thing. So let me do that. So I'm going to copy this thing, because reporting which I'm getting is not that good yet. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to change this thing to get me better report, which is called HTML report. So I'm going to get an HTML report, better report I'm going to get. I save it. And then I'm going to add reporting plugin palm.xml. So I'm going to copy this section. Control C. I'm going to copy these sections in palm.xml. So you go to palm.xml and I go all the way down and I paste that reporting thing. What it will do, it will generate a nice report for us. So that I completed. Now it says run Maven clean build. So I'm going to do right click and clean build. There are additional plugins available called extended plugin, which gives you beautiful report. You really like that type of report. Good news that Jenkins also have a plugin called extended HTML plugin, which you can add it and it will generate a beautiful report. It takes hardly like 10-20 minutes to add that plugin in your, because you know test engine. And if you add a plugin in Jenkins, then it will generate the report. So right now I successfully ran. Now I'm following my steps and say run the main thing, go to project directory and look for this file. So in project directory, which is a files folder, in files folder target, in target, it is saying to target generated source. Okay, some file target. It did not generate any folder, just like that. 1 second. It's a target directory. Look for that. You will see nice report. So target Cucumber HTML reports. I don't see report at all. Do you agree? At least I don't see anything. So let me go back and I'm going to run this thing. I'm going to run it because maybe I did not run yet. When I copy paste, I missed the runner. Sorry, that was the mistake. I said, what is happening here? Now it should work. Because without runner, it doesn't know how to run. So that will work. So that will be tada. That part is working. I want to revert again. I want to try to do that HTML because that will give you idea how to create the reports. Because you will get the similar report in Jenkins. Very nice report you will get. So this is working. That's for sure. So that's not a problem. So now let me try one more time because it should not be bad because I have tested all those things here. So right now I will copy this thing. When I copy this, I accidentally deleted the first line, and that was my mistake because I was supposed to remove this one. Okay, that part is done. And now I'm going to copy this part up to build. Because it's kind of surprising. Everything was working, so when we stop. Now, give me tada. Now this takes time. Configuration is not easy, trust me. It takes a lot more time. I have done all homework for you guys, so you can quickly use it. See, it worked. This time you will have a report. The report which I'm doing is a simple report, but you can do extended report in Jenkins. And I'll show you the example of extended report. You will really like that extended report. So right now it done. And now if I click on the report, see you have all the report here. But if I go to files, there should be a target folder and there should be a Cucumber HTML report. Do you guys agree? And if I right click here and I say open, it not this way, view, understood? View. And see, this is a nice way you can drill down report nicely. So it is opening. It's a country name. You can see the report. This is simple report. This is, I have to go to here. I will go from here outside. Target, Cucumber HTML. And if I double click on it, you will see that page will open. And you will see report. Right. Look at that. You can do drill down report. But this is a simple report. But if I show you extended report, which you guys can try, Cucumber, I ran out of time, so that's why I did not do it. Extended report. But extended report, you will love it. You will love it. There is a plugin available. You will have such kind of report. Beautiful report. You will have beautiful report. And this is, you can generate the report. Nice report. You will love it. Very nice report. This is extended report. You will be able to do it. Your report will look much better. Your report will say how many features you have, how many tests passed, what is the percentage of scenario, all those things you will do in Jenkins. You just need to add a plugin called extended HTML report. That plugin. And the same plugin you can add in a thing. And these are like, you can see all those people in the industry are using such kind of plugin. So they generate this kind of report, which is nice. This is extended report. Extended report. Such a beautiful report. Do you guys agree? And this is something you show to someone, people will be very impressive. Most companies using extended report. And that's why they expect you to know TasteNG and Cucumber, Selenium and Cucumber. So if you know TasteNG, this report can be generated. And if you know Selenium, then Selenium, Cucumber, BDD, all goes hand to hand. So tonight, we are completing entire your capstone. It is like almost 4+ months of journey, right? You started with like, QA manual, then Agile Scrum, then database, then Java, the Selenium. Well, it's almost 4 to 6 months, but ultimately I would love to see such kind of thing. If you can do this kind of thing, then your interview, you have a story to tell. That, hey, I tested this site, I did this entire Jenkins pipeline, and when I did a BDD, page object, whatever and kind of at the end of the day, I did extended reports and all. Then people say, how did you do extended report? Walk through them. That's it. You will get a job. People like to see how much detail you know. If somebody says, I did a pipeline, how did you do pipeline? So then, hey, I created first of all Git report. I added my code. And then I created a Jenkins project. Step 1, Git. Step 2, Maven. Step 3, create a test engine. Step 4, test report. Step 5, email notification. Walk through them. And that is what your interview people are looking for. Make sense? So that's all from my side. Now, any question with respect to project I can answer. Are you guys ready for the project? Right? Ideally, the project is the most exciting factor, right? So next week we'll do complete online. So that way you can easily present your content online, because we are not going to do in person next week. And next week class will be online completely. So you will be first try it out Zoom in your setup, how you're going to share your screen. And when your turn comes, immediately share your screen and take control and share. So this way we'll have just like a real life experience. Because if people are in person and all, the recording is not coming very well. Makes sense or no? Because we have background noise. But if in your remote, you will unmute yourself and you will speak. And then when you're done, you can mute yourself. Another person will take control. You have to work it out that part. But the project presentation is fun, and whatever you're doing, the good project, I'll record it and put it in YouTube. Okay? Try yourself. Enough information you have learned a lot. You have still 7 days to go. In case if you need help, you can come here and I can help you also. You can email. Many of you are already using WhatsApp group. Please do so. But capstone project, this is your capstone project. So it's doable. It's all doable. But I don't expect you to do BDD, but at least this kind of plugin you should add in your Jenkins. That is very easy to do. Okay? So thank you so far. Thank you so much. People on online, I'll see you guys next class. And just to give a reminder, next week, Wednesday, we are completing Agile Scrum class. So we'll have an Agile Scrum project presentation on next Wednesday, and then we'll resume our Oracle class. So in case if you are interested in, let Harish know. So we will allow. We are not going to allow people if you are not doing homework. If you are not doing homework, we cannot allow people. So some people say, add me, and then they don't do homework. We started removing them because this is only the students who are really interested. We don't want to just keep sending email when you don't do homework. So if you are interested in Wednesday, next Wednesday, we are going to have Agile Scrum class, Agile project. Please attend and see how they do in case if you're available. And next Thursday, you will have your own project presentations. Will be complete online. So don't drive here, okay? I'll be at home waiting for you guys to present. Sounds good? People on phone, thank you
Yes.
so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Sir.
Thanks, Tushar.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.